Okay, so getting back into our coverage over the X-Men, really the Onslaught crossover, we're going to pick up with Wolverine issue number 105. Now, with this issue right here, we're technically picking up with Wolverine trying to help out people because what happened at the very end of phase 1 of this crossover going into phase 2. Because remember, when it came to Onslaught, he had released this powerful EMP across New York. It brought havoc across the entire city. But also, he had released Sentinels as well into the city. So right now you have the X-Men, Fantastic Four, the Avengers, really all the different heroes in New York just trying their best to help out innocent people, including Wolverine, who's not right now with the rest of the X-Men. He's just out there trying his best to help out the people who may need some help. And that is why this book is an impact issue. Now, there is a huge difference between impact and also phase books. Phase 1 and phase 2 were technically used as a way to continue the main storyline in this crossover. When it comes to impact issues, they're really more of like the actions of Onslaught are truly affecting other people across the world. But how are those actions affecting other people across the world? Like, for example, when it came to phase 2, most of phase 2 for me personally is just impact issues where you have different heroes, Green Goblin, Spider-Man, Punisher, those characters out there just trying their best to help out the people of New York. Because when it came to Onslaught, when he had released that EMP, it affected the entire city. Impact issues. And so that's why this one is also an impact issue, because it's Wolverine out there just trying to help out innocent people thanks to the actions of, well, Onslaught. And so as we get into the opening pages for this one particular issue, all we're seeing right now is Wolverine at first just trying to get inside this burning building. And the reason why, because a child is trapped inside that building. It's up to Wolverine to find a way to save the life of that child. And so once you have Wolverine being able to enter the building, find the child, and try his best to protect the child, he kind of realized that most of the exit the child knows, or at least Wolverine knows as well, have been officially blocked off thanks to the fire and the building falling apart. And so it does kind of seem like at first, most likely Wolverine is going to be burned alive alongside with this child, or at least the child's going to die and Wolverine's healing factor is going to bring him back to life. Anyways, though, you do have somebody being able to guide Wolverine out of the fire just in time to save his life, but also the child's life as well. Here's the thing though, this person is an old man. We already know it's Stick. It's kind of continuing the overall story where you have Elektra and also Stick trying to help out Wolverine here and put him on the right path. And I'll explain why here in a moment, but you do have Wolverine being able to grab the child and get the child out of the fire just in time. But you then have Wolverine go back inside the building to hopefully find the old man. Now we already know the old man is Stick. Here's the thing, because when it came to Elektra and Stick, their main goal was to help Wolverine stay on the right path, to help him realize that he's always going to be a man, that even though currently he's going through some kind of transformation that was supposed to turn him into a wild beast, a wild animal, it's not going to happen at all as long as he realized that he is a man. He's not an animal. And this right here is kind of a callback to an earlier storyline that went on in the earlier parts of Wolverine comics. You see, when it came to Wolverine, really more Fatal Attractions, we saw Magneto rip off the adamantium off the bones of Wolverine. Here's the thing, because when it comes to Logan, we had learned that when he first gained his mutant ability, he was supposed to turn into this wild beast, this savage animal. But when it came to Weapon X, when they gave him his adamantium, it stopped that process. So when it came to Magneto ripping off that adamantium, that process was able to pick up again and continue to change him into this wild, savage beast we see at the moment. Now, technically, thanks to Elektra and a few other people, they put Wolverine on the right path again, where he will not act like a wild animal or a wild beast. He may look like one, but he'll still think and act like a man supposed to. And so the reason why Stick is here is technically telling Logan, like, hey, listen, like, Elektra and I can teach you almost everything we can to make you act and think like a man. But it comes down to you to make sure that you think and act like a man, that you don't basically slip up. Because if you do, then yes, you will turn into that wild beast, that savage animal. You gotta stay on the right path. You gotta stay focused and make sure you do that. And you then have Stick being able to guide Wolverine away from the burning building. Now, right after that, you then have the Human Torch appear. And when it comes to Johnny, he's here to recruit Wolverine for the big final battle against Onslaught, which we are getting very close to in a matter of, 1 or 2 or 3 videos. But either way, that wraps up this one particular issue. But this leads us into Amazing Spider-Man issue number 72. Now with this issue right here, this was the last chapter for Peter Parker in this event, but also the last chapter for a non-X character in this event as well. Now when it came to Peter Parker around this time in Marvel Comics, he believed that he was the clone and Ben Reilly was the real Peter Parker. Peter was married to Mary Jane and she was pregnant. On top of all of that, when it came to Peter Parker, his powers would disappear out of nowhere sometimes. So he could have his powers in the middle of a battle, and then sometimes they would just disappear out of nowhere. And matter of fact, in the last chapter we did for Peter Parker, he was fighting against a Sentinel, but then out of nowhere, his powers just disappear. Now, luckily for Peter Parker, it kind of worked out for him because for the Sentinel, he was no longer a threat. But yes, this is the last chapter for Spider-Man in this event and the last non-X character in this event as well. And really, when it comes to this one particular issue, it's really more of us just seeing Peter Parker just realizing that everything is still popping off across New York. You have Sentinels everywhere. You have people running for their lives because they have no idea what to do when it comes to all these different robots is attacking all over the place. Now, when it comes to Mary Jane, she's safe for the time being. She's at the Daily Bugle. But for Peter Parker, he's just out there trying to get pictures of what's happening, but at the same time wants to help out people if his powers will allow him to help out other people. Now, while he's out there, he also sees Ben Reilly as well, who at this point was Spider-Man and Peter was just Peter Parker, and that was really it. And so while you have Ben out there trying to fight against the robots, he is somewhat struggling. And you do have Peter Parker try to jump in and help out Ben Reilly the best he can. And so he does try, but it does tick off Ben because Ben knows that when it comes to Peter powers, they come and go. But either way, while you do have Peter and Ben trying to get away, Ben is hit right in the middle of while he's trying to web swing. And so you have the two characters land in this smokestack. Now, this is a callback because when it came to Ben, when it came to Peter, their lives began in this smokestack together. Like the whole idea of who's the clone, Peter or Ben, it all began in this smokestack. But either way, you also, the book kind of show us that for Peter and Ben, they look at each other as brothers. Now, you do have Ben go out of his way to find a way out of the smokestack. But they both know the Sentinels are still trying to find them. And sooner or later, they're going to locate them. And so you have Ben say, Peter, go. Like, you're Peter Parker. You have a wife. You have a child on the way. You have an actual life. I don't really right now. Like, it's just me, and that's really it. You have people waiting for you. Go ahead and leave. And on top of that, you don't have your powers all the way. I'm Spider-Man. You're not. And so you have Peter leave and Ben stays behind to fight against the Sentinels. Now, this was a very short issue here. So by the end of this issue, it's really more of us just seeing Ben being surrounded by a bunch of Sentinels and being grabbed by one of them. And at first, it does look like he might die or possibly be just seriously injured, but you do have Peter come back for him, and you have Peter and Ben being able to work together as one. And with them doing that, it's the two heroes kind of like, okay, cool, you know what? Let's go ahead and work together to figure out how to bring down all the Sentinels across the board. Because for Ben and Peter, really more Peter, they heard about what's going on when it comes to Onslaught, that you have the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and the X-Men trying to deal with that character. But for them right now, their main goal is to bring down all the robots across the city. But unfortunately, this is the end of this chapter right here for our two heroes. And so with that being said, guys, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.